Ahoy! For an update with relatively limited testing time, the new patch actually launched pretty smoothly overall, but of course it's not entirely without issues, and there's one that I want to talk about in particular, even though I'm generally happy with the patch, because I think I can maybe help some of you avoid that bug. The bug in question is the faction advancement bug. This mainly, as far as I'm aware, affects Marauders players, though it does, according to the known issues list, also seem to affect Covenant players. So what happens is basically you're supposed to talk to a specific NPC, and that NPC is not in the place where it's supposed to be, and you can't interact with it, and well, then you're stuck. And that's very, very frustrating because it gates you out of all the new cooldowns, which are required for all of the 700 gear score items, so this is a very major issue if you run into it. It has also already been officially announced that there is a fix for this in the works, so they are well aware of this, and I'm sure this is very high priority for them. But there is a way that you can possibly avoid that if you haven't done it yet. So what happens is that the NPC that you need to interact with is basically tied into two different quest lines, and for those quest lines he is in different locations, which means the kind of teleports around, which is what they're doing with the new quests, which is cool by itself, but unfortunately it breaks this particular quest. So what you need to do if you want to avoid this, and you're not at this step yet where everything is locked and you can't change it anymore, you need to do the faction advancement quest line, the very first one that basically initiates you into the Marauders. It starts in Everfall, and likewise you get similar quests for the other factions. You interact with the NPC there, you do the few quests that you need to do, the low-level quests, and you officially become a Marauder. If you do that before you reach the next faction level, the highest faction level that we can reach now, you should not have any issues as far as I'm aware. I did this quest like a while before this patch, and I was able to do my advancement quest without any major issues, but everyone who came back to the game after a long time and hadn't done those new initiation quests basically got stuck. And unfortunately, it seems that even resetting the quest doesn't help here. Some people are claiming that they can still complete the initiation quest and that actually fixes things for them, but as far as I'm aware, that does not work for everyone. It seems to work for some people, but not for others. So this is something worth trying if you haven't yet, but there's a good chance you might still get stuck afterwards. That said, if it doesn't work, they have already said that they're working on a number of fixes, expecting to deploy the first hotfix very soon, and by very soon, meaning they're planning to do 1 to 2 hotfixes this week alone, so I'm strongly hoping that one of them will be this advancement quest, since that's like one of the highest priority things for them to fix. There are also some other quest progression issues, for example for the Azoth staff tier 5 and for your heart rune, which obviously is very annoying when it comes to general progression. A lot of these things are just things that wouldn't be tested much on PTR as well, that obviously makes them hard to detect too. Additionally, on some servers there are progression issues with the Season Pass. I'm actually one of the players that experiences that one, where you can't progress properly and also you can't claim various rewards. They kind of just get stuck in an infinite loading loop. They did some resets for that, but that kind of broke some more things at the moment, because it kind of meant that some things are like, for example, mount riding skill doesn't get properly counted. I'm at like 200 something, but it counts as 14 now because it got reset. All of those things are stored on their backend though, as far as I'm aware, so this is something that will just sort out over time. I'm not too worried about that. Season Pass, yeah, sure, you get some artifacts on that, that's nice. I'll like those eventually, but the progression gating is comparatively minor next to the faction missions. If you're one of the people getting stuck on a widescreen on launch, there are instructions here on how to solve that. Generally, there is a full list of the known issues. There's some very small ones as well that I didn't feel like worth mentioning here. I will link that down in the description, but my focus here was on telling you how to potentially avoid the faction advancement bug. I found some very interesting hidden stuff about the expansion that wasn't mentioned anywhere that I will talk about in the next days. If you're interested in that, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you get notified. If you'd like to support me further, you can do so on Patreon and get early trading and farming tips in return. Thanks to my patrons who already do exactly that. And thank you for watching. SLOTH out.